This video follows the overview of classes video. In that video, we reviewed the way classes are structured and the way that we can use classes to create objects. In this video, we will build a class together and then use it to create some objects and call some methods on those objects. To make a class, you should click the downward arrow here and click New Tab to make a new tab, and you should give it the same exact name as you're going to call your class with a capital letter. Then here, I'm going to write class car, open a curly bracket, and then I'm going to add in the class variable. So I want a class variable for the X location, a class variable for the Y location, and I'm going to make a color variable as well, color C. After that, I'm going to add a constructor. The constructor, again, is a place where I initialize class variables. It's also a place I can pass in parameters if I need to add specificity to the objects I'm creating. So I'm going to start my X location over at 0 on the left side of the screen. So all of the cars, any car that's made from this class will start on the left side of the screen. The Y location I'll make random for now, just so we have all the cars won't be on top of one another. They'll be spread out along the y-axis. And then for the color variable, if you're using the color data type, you should also be using the alphanumeric code. So let's make a red car. Just going to paste that in. I'm going to close the constructor. The next thing I'm going to do is going to make the methods for these classes. These are any action items as well as the appearance. Generally, as a convention, we use display as the name of the method that will contain all the appearances of the car. So I'm going to say no stroke fill. I'm going to use my color variable. And then I'm going to make a rectangle located XY. I'll make it 50 by 25. The body of the car. It doesn't matter where the car is, and I could change this. Wherever this car is, it doesn't matter the values of X and Y. I just know that no matter what those values are, that's where the car will be located. So similarly, whatever X value or Y value the rectangle has, I can use an algebraic expression to place the wheels. So I'll make, first I use a black fill, and then I'm going to say X, because it's centered on the left side of the car, Y plus 25, because I want it at the bottom of the body of the car, and I'll make it 20 by 20. That's the left wheel. And then I'm going to say X plus 50, that's the width of the car. Y plus 25, again, the height of the car, 20 by 20 to make the right wheel. I recommend, until you're very comfortable using algebraic expressions to place objects on the screen with respect to one another, that you actually open a new processing window altogether, make an object, and then sub in X and Y in those algebraic expressions to create your objects. The next method I'm going to close the bracket for that object. I've also closed the bracket for the constructor. I have not yet closed the bracket for the whole class. The next method I'm going to make after that is one to make it move. I'll say void drive. I'm just going to say X equals X plus 3. So it's going to add, every time this method is called, it'll add 3 pixels on to the X location of the car, so it'll move towards the right across the screen. If I call this method on an object in display, it'll add 3 pixels on 60 times a second. So that's, it's moving right along. Then the last method I called lights on. Lights on. I was adding some headlights, so I'm going to make this as yellow. Then I'm just going to make a little ellipse at X plus 50, so the right side of the car, Y plus, 5, and I'll make it, 5 pixels wide, 10, 15 pixels high. Close that, so that, as you can see, closes the whole lights on method, and then if I add another curly bracket, it closes the whole class. Now I'm ready to go back to the main tab. The main tab has the same name as whatever the program is saved at. If it's not yet saved, it has that generic name that includes the date. So now I want to add void setup and void draw. And I can put my size and setup. I'm going to then create my first car object. So I'm going to use the class name as the data type, capital C, car, and then I can come up with any name that I want to call this car. In the first part of this video, I called them Jeep, VW, and Ford because those are car names. I could call this anything though. So let's call, I don't know, we'll call this one Honda. How about car Honda equals new car? Again, this needs to be capitalized. It's the same name as the constructor. So the class name, the constructor name are both the same, and they're both used here as well. Then down here, if I want to just show my car, I can't just write display because I could be making hundreds or thousands of cars using this class. It needs to know which one of those I've made. I've only made one, so I have to call it on that one for it to work. And we say call on, that's a conventional term for using the method associated with a particular object. This is called dot syntax, the way this is structured. It's the name of the variable, the instance variable or the object, then a period, and then the method. So I'm calling the method display on the car Honda. So if I play it now, I just get my car showing up here. Ooh, I should probably put in a background. My background. There's the car randomly along the y-axis, but all the way over at 0. Now if I want to make it move, I can say honda.drive. And there it goes. And then if I wanted it to also have its lights on, I could say honda.lights on. And there it goes with its little headlights. But also if I wanted to put that maybe in a conditional, so if mouse pressed is true, hitting Command T to realign my text so it's all structured correctly. There it goes, and if I click the mouse, the headlight goes on. And then because it's hard to see the headlights, I was thinking that I could make a color variable so it would also change the color of the background when I press the mouse. So I'm going to say color, I'll call it background equals, and then white is $sign 6Fs. And then I'm going to sub in that background variable that I made in there. And then if the mouse presses true, I'm going to change background to, I want like black will hide the light, so I'm going to go get like a dark gray color. How about that? So now if I play it, hit the mouse, the headlights will come on and the background changes. I could then easily make another car object. I could say car, I don't know, I'm running out of car names here. I'll just say Jeep again. And then I can call, if I say just Jeep.display, the Jeep will just display, but it won't move. And I can do the same thing, Jeep.drive, and then the Jeep will drive as well. So this is the basics of class structure and calling methods on objects made from classes using dot syntax.